You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
And welcome on this glorious Sunday morning here in California. I mean, interestingly, I say glorious. Here it is July. We were in a drought here in Southern California. And as luck would have it, or unluck, yesterday, major thunderstorms. It felt like I was in Florida. Thunderstorms, muggy. They were actually clearing the beaches because they were so worried about lightning striking. And apparently there was an accident last year, so they are very, very sensitive to it now. And anyway, pretty exciting here in LA, though today is gorgeous. And I want to welcome you to Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff. I'm your host for the next 30 minutes, Dr. Jeff Werber, here at Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff. And we are here for you. We're here to answer your questions, talk about anything you want to talk about pets, and have a good time while we're doing it. And I will give you honest opinions because nobody owns me, which is great. We do have some sponsors: Prosense Pet Products, Kong Veterinary Products. I know you're not going to have any problem with them, but if you did, I want to hear about it anyway. And anyway, a few things to catch up with. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about a patient of mine that was a 15-year-old border collie. Now, there are many veterinarians, myself included, that are willing to jump into surgery, major surgery, on a 15-year-old dog, period, let alone a fairly large one. It's one of those things where I always say that age is not a disease. Age is something that we have to work with. Age is something that we have to consider when developing our game plan, but age itself is not a disease. It's like you're not going to say to grandma, who's 92, who fell and broke her hip, who is in otherwise perfect health, her bloods are fine, her heart's fine. You're not going to say, gee, grandma, sorry, we're not fixing your hip because you're 92. If everything else is okay, you got to go for it. So we had this long discussion with the client. The same basic discussion is that, yes, he's 15. Yes, he's old. But we did a blood test. Perfect. We checked his heart, lungs, everything is perfect. He's got no evidence, ultrasound, no evidence of cancer anywhere else except in the jaw. We got to do it. So we did what's called a mandibulectomy. We took pretty much his entire right side of his jaw out. We cut just in front of the lower molars, and it was pretty tough healing for this old guy. But I got to tell you, the owners called this past week, said he is doing amazingly well. He's back to his old self. Like I told the owners, I can't tell you whether I'm going to give you an extra year. I mean, whatever, the hope was that whatever his natural life would take him, that's where we're going to go. And that's great because he's doing really well. Anyway, so that's some good news. Those are the greatest cases where your hands actually played a part in a pet's recovery, in a pet's best quality of life possible. A lot of times we're not lucky. We know in this case we saved a life because without that surgery, this cancer would have overtaken him in no time. It was so disgusting. It was eating up his mouth, his entire half, that half of his mandible, which is lower jaw. And he wouldn't have had a chance. He would have been weeks. They would have put him to sleep. And now he's doing great. So that's super cool. So hope you are, in the rest of this country, enjoying the hot weather. And as you know, we have spoken about many, many hot weather tips. And one of the points I often make when discussing exercise during this time of year is to be very careful, even in the evening when the sun is down, that when you are exercising, you're walking, you're running with your pets, with your dogs especially, that you still need to exercise caution because pavement retains heat. Pavement is very hot and it holds that heat for a while. And unless you're going to always be walking your dog on grass, but even gravel, not only does it hurt, but it retains heat. Sand. I mean, go to the beach during the heat of the day and see if you can make it from where you're sitting to the ocean without running very fast because sand gets very hot. So as we know, it's a problem. And, I'm the kind of guy that's always looking for solutions. Well, I was at the Global Pet Expo last year in March in Orlando. And I was, I'm always kind of cruising the booth just to see what's out there that's kind of new and exciting, things that we could talk about here on the show. And I entered a booth. I saw a booth of something that kind of intrigued me, and they're called Paw Savers. And I've been talking to the owner of Paw Savers, Lenny Sherman, and Lenny is with us today here live on air. So if you have any questions, get ready to ask them. But Lenny, welcome.
Hello, Dr. Weber. Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure. Honored to be here.
And so anyway, when I was in your booth, we were talking about the Paw Savers. You were, doing your demonstrations. I told you I thought they were a great idea. How did this all start?
Well, I had similar problems. I live in New York, and also we have really hot summers here, but we also have really cold winters. And my dog wasn't able to walk outside in all the seasons. She was having trouble all the time. So I found the need for this product because booties weren't working. So what I did was I invented this product called Paw Savers, and it's a disposable foam pad. And it adheres to the bottom of the dog's paw. They come in multiple sizes to fit all dogs. And it's a very easy application. You apply them for the walk, and they're great in all conditions, whether, like you say, in the heat or in the snow or in the rain, in the mud. There's glass outside, any hazardous materials, or just in general, keeping the dog's paw clean during a walk.
And how are they tolerated pretty much by the dogs?
Well, you put them on, it's an adhesive, and the adhesive is a hypoallergenic and non-toxic adhesive, so it's safe for the animal. And once you apply it, it contours to the entire paw pad. So once the dog puts his paw down, they don't feel it. It's like a natural feeling. They don't do that awkward kick like they're wearing booties or anything else, and they just walk.
What's interesting is that you just mentioned something very funny about the awkward kick. When I wrap a dog's foot for some reason, they do that shake. They just want to get, it's like they don't want to wear socks. You wear socks. So, kind of what a booty is that concept that they sit there and try to get off. And, I was watching the demos. I was watching the dogs. You had some dogs that you were putting through like an agility exercises, climbing things up and walking along things. And they seem to be totally unfazed by the fact that they're wearing these pads.
It's simply, a distraction for the dog is putting them on and taking them for the walk. The paw pads adhere, and they become one with the paw pad. So they don't feel them, and they actually enjoy them because it provides also a cushion. It's a 16th of an inch foam pad, so it provides a nice cushion for the joints while they're walking as well. And they just simply don't know they're there. They don't cover the top of the paw. They don't go on the nail, so their nails are exposed. And they're just protecting the paw pad, the most important sensitive part. And, typically, would pull or they don't know it's on, basically.
Now, it's interesting. Some dogs grow a lot of hair in between the toes. If you ever, anybody, especially long-haired dogs or fuzzy dogs, if you turn their feet upside down and you look in between the paw pads, there's a lot of hair there. Lenny, are there any indications to maybe have that hair trimmed? If you have such a dog, will it affect the ability of the paw saver to stick on the pad?
That's a good point. Well, when, typically the first instruction of paw savers is applying it to a dry paw pad, typically the same way you would use a Band-Aid. So if there is hair that passes the paw pad, you would want to give it a light trim. So it wouldn't affect the adhesive part of it. It would definitely adhere to it. But, removing it would be, slightly discomfortable. So I would strongly recommend if a dog has long hairs between the paw pads to give them a trim prior to putting them on. And you only have to do it, ever so like 2 months or a month, however you see the dog's hair growing back.
Now, you mentioned that. So let's say you put it on, it's hot outside, the sun's gone down, so you feel safer about the heat issue, but the pavement or the sidewalk is still pretty hot. So that you put on the paw saver. So when you come back from your walk, is it something you want to have them removed right away? And if so, can you use that same paw saver the next morning or the next evening?
Well, the beauty of paw savers is there's different ways of using it. There's ways of using it, for example, our 3 pillars are clean, safe, and comfortable. So in terms of people who don't want to track dirt in the house or anything from outdoors, I would recommend after, a 30-minute walk, I would recommend to remove the paw saver. They simply just peel off, and you could put it right back on the paper that it comes with, and you can reuse it at 1 time or 2 times, as many times as you can get use out of it, depending on, the weight of the dog, the size of the dog, the length of your walk, the terrain that you travel on. And you basically, take it off. Other people may want to just keep it on all day. So you go for your walk, you come home, put it on in the morning, you come home from your walk. I would strongly recommend to see how your dog reacts to it in the house because, every dog has a different personality. And some dogs may want to take it off when they're home because they're in their home environment. They lay down and they may lick their paws. Well, as we mentioned earlier, that, they are hypoallergenic and non-toxic, so they are safe. If the dog licks his paws during it or peels it off, nothing harmful will happen to your dog. But I've had many instances where, people say, well, I leave it on because my dog, slips on my hardwood floors. So it's also beneficial to keep it on and use it indoors as well. And then you can go back out and for your second walk, come back in, use it for your third walk. And if you still want to maintain the cleanliness in your house, keeping it on, you may do so, but it just makes it that much easier to wipe your dog's paws with a nice surface of paw savers, rather than, when the dog walks, where they go to the bathroom, or whether it's in sand or dirt or gravel, they pick up a lot of residue, a lot of debris in their paws, and it gets stuck in there, and you have to clean it out, because it's not going to, then they're going to clean it themselves.
Right. All right. So we have to take a quick break here. Stay tuned. I have some things that you mentioned a really good point, Lenny, that I want to talk about after our break, which is it's not only to protect pets from the harsh environments out there. There's some really good medical therapeutic reasons as well. And I want to get into that because I just actually sent a dog home with paw savers on Friday for this reason. So stay tuned, everybody. If you have any questions, you want to give us a call at 877-385-8882. Once again, 877-385-8882. Or you can just live while we're here on air, send me a quick note to Dr. Jeff at Pet Life Radio. That's Dr. Jeff at PetLifeRadio.com. Or join us online right now as we're here, and you can join in the conversation. There's a big box when you go onto the website, and you could just start typing away, and we will read your questions and talk as well. So we'll be right back after these short words.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
This is my tired of itching face.
Does your dog suffer from persistent itching and scratching? Allergies and skin irritations caused by environment, including pollens, insects, especially fleas, food, and common household allergens are common problems in dogs. It's easy to alleviate your dog's discomfort at home with Prosense. Prosense itch and allergy products provide fast relief from symptoms like itchy, irritated skin infections like hot spots, and watery eyes. Prosense products are veterinary formulated and recommended to ensure the very best for your pet. Try Prosense today. Your dog will thank you for it. Pets love life. Love them back with Prosense.
Amazing Pet Expos is coming to a city near you. Admission is always free, and your pet is welcome. Shopping, adoptions, free nail trims, discounted shots and microchipping, agility, a pet costume contest, and much more. Plus, meet the guys from Animal Planet's hit TV series Tanked and Pit Boss. Online at AmazingPetExpos.com.
Bring your pets to the Pet Expo.
We all love our pets, and when disaster strikes, we want to make sure they are safe. In an emergency situation, you have to be your pet's voice and have the correct information at hand for emergency personnel if your pet ever needs their help. The Pet Alert Emergency Information System was designed with and approved by firefighters as well as police to make sure that your pet is protected in case of an emergency. With it, you will have all the tools you need in order to keep your pet safe. The Pet Alert Emergency Information System is literally a lifeline to safety for your pet that provides all the right information in all the right places. Whether you experience a house fire, auto accident, medical emergency, natural or man-made disaster, don't let your pet be a victim. You need to be prepared. You are your pet's advocate, so don't let them down. Safeguard their lives with the Pet Alert Emergency Information System. Get yours today by visiting PetAlert.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
And welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on this glorious Sunday. You're here with Dr. Jeff Werber, your host for the next, maybe 12 minutes here on Pet Life Radio's Ask the Vets with Dr. Jeff. And we have a guest today, Lenny Sherman, who is the owner and creator of Paw Savers. And I'm going to hold this up for those of you that are joining us on Skype right now. So this is what the sheet looks like, if you can see. There are 4 pads right here. This is for a large dog. And simply they just peel right off, almost like any kind of adhesive backing, like that bandage. And they peel off like so. And if you can see, it's sticky. And the beauty is that after a use, you can always put it back onto the paper and reuse it again as many times as the adhesive will stick to your dog's pad. Now, clearly one of the indications of the paw savers or any kind of paw protector is going to be from the heat. But what I like about these, and I was so intrigued, they're very unobtrusive. They don't have this heavy feeling on the dog's foot. They're not trying to shake it off. They tolerate them because it's like putting on a Band-Aid. It's there, but it doesn't affect you at all. It's like a sticky pad on the bottom of the pad. And it provides a little cushion, so it's actually a little bit on the comfortable side for them. But what I notice is they do have a bit of a traction feature, which is great because many of our dogs, my old Labrador included, as they start to weaken in their back ends, oftentimes, and I'm sure you've seen this with your old dogs, their feet start to splay out, and especially on smooth surfaces, whether it's linoleum, tile, hardwood floors, unless you have carpeting all over the house. I don't know about you, but I prefer hardwood floors and area rugs. I think floors are really good. Wood is beautiful, but it's rather slippery for the dogs. So I had a dog in yesterday, a 14-year-old German Shepherd, not yesterday, on Friday, a 14-year-old German Shepherd dog. And he had classic degenerative myelopathy. And anyone who's had an old Shepherd knows what DM or degenerative myelopathy is all about. And the biggest problem is as he is progressively weakening along the back, he is becoming more unsure of himself because of his poor footing. Because as soon as he steps in anything smooth, he slips right out. So what happens in a dog like that, they start thinking that, oh, I can't walk anymore. But if you got them on grass, right, or on pavement, they do pretty well. So I realized, oh my God, this is a perfect indication to send home some of these Paw Savers pads, which we sent home. And I have not heard back from the owner yet, but I will certainly follow up. But I think that is another really great indication for its use. So it has some therapeutic benefits. It has extreme protective benefits. And so Lenny, you guys have been on the market now for how long?
Well, for about, we've done 12 months of product development and testing before we came to market. And after the Global Pet Expo, we've been selling about the product for about 4 to 5 months now. So it's a relatively new product. And we're having great results so far. Great feedback from customers, a lot of happy customers leaving feedback on our social media. Similar, that you just mentioned today, we received one from a 14-year-old dog that was having trouble walking in his home in the hardwood floors, and they purchased Paw Savers, and the dog walked like he's never walked before. Had some personal friends as well, where he had a husky in his house, and the husky was, they have really shiny floors, and the husky is not even old. It's just, the floors are so shiny. The dog's about 5 years old. She has trouble walking up the stairs. So with Paw Savers, she just walks up the stairs freely. So it feels really good when you hear you're helping the dogs.
Absolutely. So how many sets do you have out there, you think?
To date, in the last 4 months, we've sold about 6,000 sets and growing, because we just came to market, and it takes quite a bit of time to do so.
And there are, 24 pads in a pack?
Right. There's 6 sets, 24 pads in a pack, correct. And they come in 7 different sizes, as mentioned before. So we tailor to any dog from 4 pounds up to approximately 110 pounds.
Right.
7 different, from extra, extra small to extra, extra large.
Wow. So I guess for us, I know my sister has been using it on one of her dogs with success. I have a few sets out there that I wanted to test them before I had you on air. So far, good results. I'm very curious to see how the Shepherd with the degenerative myelopathy does as well. One thing I know a lot of people out there listening have, or at least think they have, great ideas when it comes to solving problems for their pets. And it's not so easy. I remember when I had a product line out a number of years ago, started to go to these pet expos, these trade shows, and they're huge. And there are so many things out there. How difficult was it for you to sort of break into something that's relatively new, a bit innovative, because there are quite a few booty companies out there, and come up with a way to solve a problem and yet not just be, here's another one kind of thing, kind of product?
Right. Well, it all came from, like I said, wanting to help my dog, because I loved him so much, and I needed a solution. And the booties just wasn't a solution. You could buy a set for like $15, $20, $30, $40. They range in different prices, different models. Like you said, there's a lot of them out there, but the dogs like to kick them off because they don't feel natural. So I just, was thinking, I kept thinking, and all of a sudden it came to me, some type of a sticker, and then I kept looking into it. And, my background is in the manufacturing business. this. So I kept cranking my gears until I finally came up with this solution. I had it made, and I tested it myself. It was so many hours of work and time dedicated into this, from finding all these different size dogs and testing it. And I literally myself measured all their paws and found, because obviously every dog has a different size paw pad, so we found and created 7 sizes to fit 99% range of dogs, which was, it wasn't easy, but when you care about something, you get it done. And I found that going to the Global Pet Expo, investing my time and my money was worth it, because we could help so many animals out there that there's no good solution, I feel, right now with protecting their paws, especially in a safe and comfortable way. Booties, like said before, yes, they could be good in the winter, but what about the summertime? What about places where there is no winter? There's
right.
A lot of different countries came to the Global Pet Expo, all of South America, Mexico, even California now. They're making announcements on the news and so forth that, walk your dog before 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. and don't walk it until after 7 p.m. because the concrete and pavement is burning. If you put your hand down on the floor, on the concrete, and you can't hold it there for 5 seconds, then it's way too hot for your dog to walk outside. That's basically what they're saying.
Right. So it's not an easy task, anybody who's out there, when you want to bring a product to market. The pet industry, as we all know, is huge. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, but it does take a lot of work, a lot of conviction, a lot of perseverance, and I'm sure, Lenny, a lot of money to get a new product out there. It's got to be tested. It's got to be right. The worst thing you do is bring a product to market too soon or without the testing, because that's
Absolutely.
That is,
I agree.
It's going to go straight to failure. So you have to make sure you have something, and also make sure that there's a need out there. Make sure that if you're thinking about something that you want to solve for your pet, make sure it's not only your pet, because you're not going to want to sell just one. The whole idea is to solve a problem, meet a need that almost every pet out there could use. And I think this is it's a terrific idea, and it's innovative. It's different. I think it's the only type of adhesive that I saw of its kind. Like you said, there are a number of booty companies out there, but I was very impressed. And that's why I had you on. I thought it was a great idea. I'm going to be putting him on my old lab so he can walk through the house without slipping all over the hardwood floors. I will get back to you, Lenny, and let you know just how this Old Shepherd is doing. I'm sure you'll be interested to know, so you can use it in your marketing as well, because degenerative myelopathy is a big problem in some of these Old Shepherds, and some other breeds can have it as well, but notoriously it's German Shepherd dogs. So anyway, I want to thank you for being here. Where can people find Paw Savers?
Thank you for asking. Right now, they can visit pawsavers.com, www.pawsavers.com. They are also in a large chain in Florida. Like I said, we just started selling, but they can gladly visit our site. We ship direct to customers, and we will be listed on PetSmart.com shortly, maybe the next week or so, featured on the new outdoor products.
Good.
New outdoor summer products.
Excellent. So I wish you a lot of luck, Lenny. It was, as I said, a good product. Nice meeting you. And thank you for being here on the show and giving you a chance to talk about Paw Savers, which I think are a terrific idea. So for everybody else out there, we will be here next week, same time. And have a wonderful week. Stay cool. If you're enjoying this outdoor sun, most of the parts of the country, I understand now, this is true summer. This is where it gets hot and muggy. So keep yourself safe and make sure to keep your pets safe as well. Thanks again to our sponsors, Prosense Pet Products and Kong, and we will see you here next week.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.